On a calm Saturday evening, Amara walked into one of the most popular restaurants in the city with her friends. The place was beautiful. Soft music played in the background. The lights were warm and welcoming. The smell of spices floated gently through the air. People laughed. Plates clinked. Waiters moved around confidently. "This place is classy," one of her friends said, smiling as they took their seats. Amara nodded. She had heard good things about the restaurant. Many people recommended it online. Influencers had tagged it. The reviews were glowing. They ordered their food and settled in to wait. As minutes passed, Amara began to feel uncomfortable. "I need to use the restroom," she said, standing up. She called a waitress who was passing by. "Excuse me," Amara asked politely. "Please, where is your restroom?" The waitress didn't stop walking. She simply stretched her hand and pointed toward a hallway. "Just that door," she said casually. Amara thanked her and headed in that direction. The hallway was quiet. The music from the restaurant faded with each step she took. At the end of the hallway were two doors. One looked neat and polished. The other looked plain, slightly worn. There were no labels. Assuming the restroom was the closer one, Amara gently pushed the door open. And that was the moment everything changed. The first thing that hit her was the smell. It was heavy, sour, rotten. Amara froze. Her heart skipped. Before she could even process what she was smelling, her eyes adjusted to the dim light inside the room. It wasn't a restroom. It was the kitchen. And what she saw made her stomach twist. The floor was filthy, dark stains everywhere. Dust clung to the walls. Flies hovered freely, landing boldly on uncovered pots of food. Large bowls of stew sat open, with flies dancing on the surface as if it were their home. Cockroaches crawled along the corners, some bold, some quick, moving between sacks of rice and open containers. A rat-sized shadow ran across the floor and disappeared behind a shelf. Amara covered her mouth. Her hands began to shake. This was where people's food was prepared. This was what they were serving. A cook stood at the far end of the room, stirring a pot without gloves, sweat dripping from his forehead straight into the food. Another worker wiped his hands on a dirty cloth and reached for a plate. No hairnets. No gloves. No hygiene. Just chaos and filth. A fly landed directly on a piece of meat that looked ready to be served. That was when Amara screamed. The scream echoed down the hallway. The kitchen staff turned suddenly. "Hey, who is that?" someone shouted. Amara stumbled backward, nearly falling as she rushed out and slammed the door behind her. Her chest rose and fell rapidly. Her heart pounded like it wanted to escape her body. She ran back to the dining area where her friends sat laughing, unaware. "What happened?" one of them asked. Amara couldn't speak immediately. She grabbed her phone with shaking hands. "You won't believe this," she said, her voice trembling. Without saying another word, she opened her camera and quietly went back to the hallway. This time, she didn't scream. She recorded. She opened the door slowly, capturing everything: the flies, the cockroaches, the dirty pots, the uncovered food. She zoomed in on the flies sitting comfortably on the meals meant for customers. She zoomed in on the filthy floor. She zoomed in on a worker stepping on food scraps and continuing to cook. Her stomach churned. She quietly closed the door and returned to the table. Amara showed the video to her friends. Their smiles vanished. One of them gasped. Another covered her mouth. One pushed her chair back immediately. "My God, we were going to eat that. I feel sick. That's disgusting." They didn't wait for the food. They didn't call the manager. They stood up, grabbed their bags, and walked out of the restaurant, never looking back. That night, Amara couldn't sleep. Every time she closed her eyes, she saw flies on food. She imagined how many people had eaten there without knowing. Children. Pregnant women. Families. She thought of food poisoning. Infections. Diseases. Her conscience wouldn't let her rest. The next morning, she made a decision. She posted the video online. Not for fame. Not for drama. But for awareness. She wrote, "I mistakenly entered a restaurant kitchen yesterday. What I saw was shocking. Please be careful where you eat." Within hours, the video spread. Comments poured in. "I eat here every week. My children love this place. No wonder I was sick last month. This is dangerous." The video went viral. Health officials took notice. An inspection was launched. The restaurant was shut down. The truth had been exposed. Weeks later, Amara passed by the restaurant. The doors were locked. A notice was pasted outside. Closed due to health violations. She stood there quietly. She didn't smile. She didn't celebrate. She just whispered to herself. Some doors open for a reason. That wrong door saved lives.